evening. Good evening. Creative Finance with JB. Another week. This week we got something special, dear to our heart. We always talk about health as wealth, and we're going to talk about that today, real in depth. I got Mr. and Mrs. Johnson here, which is going to talk about the Deanna Foundation, the event we have coming up. Folks, I want to tell you that we're putting our best foot forward for this event here happening in September. And I'm not going to steal the joy from Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, but this is a foundation and a little introduction to where we're at with the foundation, the House bill that passed. It's so many things that happened that we're just going to share a quick video with you so you can see where we're at in this foundation movement and what we got planned for you. Just stand fast.
After a unanimous vote in the Delaware House, Dwayne and Karen Johnson walked back into Delaware's Capitol building to try to get a similar outcome in the Senate. One by one, every single senator said their daughter's name as they voted.
Faith Deanna Johnson, yes.
And with that, Faith's bill passed. With the governor's signature, every insurance company operating in Delaware will now have to cover screening and continued testing for ovarian cancer when they detect a risk factor. It is a disease that will kill almost 13,000 American women this year. And in Faith's case, it wasn't detected when she asked her doctor about it in 2019. She died in 2021.
Had doctors listened to her early on, we believe it could have been avoided. And that's what the bill will do in the state of Delaware. That was the goal, to have annual screening for women that are at risk for ovarian cancer.
This story hits really close to home for us at NBC 10. While Faith was in graduate school at Temple University, she was one of our interns. She worked closely with our digital team. She shadowed me out in the field. She was really set to have an amazing career before ovarian cancer robbed her of everything.
She loved NBC. That when she got an intern with NBC, she was so thankful. And she talked about Jacqueline. She talked about you. She talked about so many others. And it was just a blessing.
Mom and Dad overcome with emotion as lawmakers hugged them after the vote in the Senate. It was the ultimate show of bipartisanship, and it shows that when everyone decides to come together on something in this little state, big things can happen. The governor literally signed the law minutes after the Senate approved it.
Right. Yeah, so that we can start saving lives for women. I mean, it's an important issue that we can start saving lives now. Why wait? And of course, you have fights with the insurance companies, but you know what? If you're going to save a life, she's going to save so many lives. Faith is going to save so many lives in the state of Delaware.
In Dover, Tim Furlong, NBC 10 News.
And folks, we that was just a little snippet of what then happened in this lifestyle. I got Mr. and Mrs. Johnson here, man. I thank y'all so much for being on. We're really preaching that health is wealth. Financing is more than just, it's more than money. It's more, it's a lifestyle, a living. And I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of time to just introduce yourself, give us a little backstory on the foundation, and we're gonna start moving forward.
Thank you, Brother Johnny. Thank you, Brother Johnnie Bazemore. We're gonna give it to the wife first.
Well, hello, and thank you for having us. My name is Karen Johnson. The video that you just saw, we started the Faith Deanna Johnson Foundation in 2023 in honor of our daughter, who was a rising journalist. And where do I start? 2023, she passed in 2021, and it took us 2 years to, go through the grieving process. And then we had decided that the best thing for us to move forward was to implement the dreams of what we call the dreams of faith. And that was the dream that Faith Deanna Johnson had before she passed away, that we would work to save the lives of other women. When it became apparent that this disease would take her life, she was not just thinking of herself, she was thinking of others. And so we decided to move forward and turn our pain into comfort for others. And that's how we started the foundation. That's what began our advocacy that produced the bill that you just played from the NBC article.
My brother Bazemore, just want to say Faith Deanna Johnson was our only child. She was our only baby. Again, the wife just said when she passed away at the age of 21.
She's 26.
She was 26. She passed away in 2021. But she was a trooper. I mean, she told me, she said, Dad, look here, I'm sorry I couldn't give you grandchildren. I'm sorry you couldn't take me down the aisle. But she did say that I want you and Mom to go out and help other women. I was very fortunate to have parents that had means to help me pay my bills and keep my, car payment, insurance, and things like that paid. So she said, I want you guys to go out and help other women, and you guys will be perfect for it. And she said, another thing I want you to do, you and Mama, y'all can't get divorced, because statistics says when couples lose their only child, they don't stay together too much longer. And she said, if that happens, she said, Brother Bazemore, I'm coming to get y'all. So I'm coming to get y'all if that happens. So she said, no, that's going to happen. So we took this pain and turned it into gain, where we're out in the battlefield, whether it's Delaware, California, Chicago, Iowa, Texas, where we travel, we're talking about ovarian cancer and bringing awareness to the cause of ovarian cancer. Faith graduated, like the news clip said. She got a master's degree at Temple. She got a bachelor's degree at the University of Delaware. And the walk that we're going to be having coming forth on September the 6th is going to be at the University of Delaware. Yeah.
And that's awesome, man. And folks, I said, man, that's going to be a special day for me. It's the day before my birthday. I'm excited about it.
Wonderful.
It's happening. Man.
Let me say this before you jump in, Brother Bazemore. September is National Ovarian Cancer Month.
Wow.
So that's September is National Ovarian Cancer Month. And Faith was born in September. She was born September 11th. So it also kind of goes with her birthday. You see that?
Right.
So it's a double blessing for us to be in the battlefield. Yes, sir.
That's just amazing. Great woman. I'm excited about the faith of fighting and the foundation y'all have really done. I read the story and I kept reading it, and my wife said, she's like, you're emotional. I'm like, yeah, I'm emotional because I'm like, man, look at that. At least the legacy is going on.
Yes, yeah.
It's not stopping. We're still pushing forward. We've got to go out here and spread the word of just keeping it going,
Yes.
And I remember when my mom, she had cancer and she passed, and I said, yo, we got to go on and just keep the word going out there in our community. How do we do this? I see you have this foundation, and just for our audience to know, how did the foundation start? I mean, what did you have? What steps did you have to take to get that going?
Go ahead, Wayne.
Well, just like any other corporation, we just file the papers, of course, to get it moving. But with any nonprofit, so we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and the 501c3 designation allows you to collect donations from the public, and the donors are able to write that off as on their taxes. And so as a public nonprofit, our funding has to come from the public or public resources. And so we are there to serve the public good. So that's kind of the steps that we went through, to get it done, or to become, to be able to receive donations from the public. Now, of course, there's accounting and everything else that goes along with that. Annually, we have to file, documents with the government to make sure that the funds are being used properly, and to just give an accounting of the funds that we have collected and the programs that we are providing to the public for the good of the community.
Yeah, and I'm a commercial break there, folks. If y'all out there and y'all seeing this tonight, I want y'all to commit to the donation. Yes. I want y'all to commit to keeping this going on in the community, that we can pass this on. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, how can people donate so we can put something and go across the screen so we know that they're able to do that?
Sure, we appreciate that. Well, the website address is www.faith, F-A-I-T-H, Deanna, D-E-A-N-N-A, Johnson.org. So faithdeannajohnson.org. That is the website address.
Yeah, and folks, go to the website. It don't make a difference what time it is. It don't make a difference what you're doing. If you're at work, if you just want to say, hey, you know, this hit me. I'm seeing this on YouTube now. Drop $100. Drop $50. For the sake of this is a cause that is very honorable and that needs to happen out there within our community. For us to pass on to that, we see that Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, they got that bill passed for these insurance companies to go ahead and do that testing. It's so important here that we go out and do that. And we're going to have them run that website across the screen so y'all can see what's happening here. Go look at the website. Go read the story, because I know we work every day. We do all to make a living, but we don't focus on health. And health is so important to us right now that if we pay attention to it, everything can work out a little bit better. We have Miss Faith Deanna Johnson, man, God bless her. That we're able to pass this story on to some folks out here that's probably in need of that needs the understanding and has to go on from that standpoint. And I know Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, it's starting this foundation, I can't even imagine you know, what y'all have done, and you know, it's miraculous, but September 6th is a big day.
Yes.
September 6th is a big day. Let us know what we got planned on September 6th, what we're going to do.
Well, on September the 6th at the University of Delaware in Newark, next to the Bob Carpenter Center, it's called the Bob Hanner Stadium, we're going to have a charity walk and run. Starts at 8 a.m. on September the 6th. And September, again, is National Ovarian Cancer Month. And we're going to have at 9:15, that's when we're going to start the run. And we want everyone who wants to run to come out. We're also canvassing the university, and also we're canvassing all over Delaware for anyone that wants to move on this movement and this cause that we are moving to bring awareness to the citizen, the community of Delaware. And then about maybe 9:45, we're going to start the walk. And everything is going to be on the campus of University of Delaware. We have ample parking for everyone. There'll be vendors from health organizations from all over Delaware. A few vendors will also be there on September the 7th.
Retail vendors. There'll be health and retail vendors. Yes.
Health and retail, yes.
Health and retail vendors, yes.
So if somebody wants to be a vendor to donate, can they just go to the website too and do that?
Yes, they can go to the website. There is a sign up on the website where it says run, walk, sign up. So all of the information, all of the registration for signing up is on the walk website. So you can sign up as a walker, as a volunteer. You could also sign up as a walking team. You can sign up as an individual walker. So however you want to participate, there are various options for you to support us and to participate. And as Dwayne was saying, there will be health vendors there. So health resource vendors, we have, Christiana Care, the Helen Graham Cancer Center will be there. We have sponsors. Our sponsors are, one is Christiana Care. We have AmeriHealth as a sponsor, and Newcastle County, as well as ShopRite. So we appreciate the sponsors that we have. We are seeking more. Right. It takes a lot to put on an event like this.
Absolutely. Big endeavor. So we need the community.
Correct. So we appreciate all the support that we have received thus far. And, I would just like to say that, the awareness that we're trying to bring is that this disease, ovarian cancer, it is the number one cause of gynecologic cancer deaths in our country. So it is the number 5. So I would say it was the 5th cause of cancer-related deaths in women. So a lot of women believe that it's a misconception, I will say, that when we go for our annual physicals, you have all types of exams, and we have what's called a pap smear, and they think that pap smear is there for ovarian cancer, but it is not. That is for cervical cancer. So ovarian cancer, and that is the reason why we got the legislation passed, is because that's not being checked when you go for your annual screenings. It's not being checked. So if you feel that you are at risk for ovarian cancer, that is something now that you can ask for when you go to see your doctor. I would like to say that part of our awareness campaign is that if you have a history of breast cancer or colon cancer or uterine cancer in your family, then you are at risk also for ovarian cancer. So there's a lot of myths out regarding ovarian cancer, but we would like to educate, and that is the purpose, because when our daughter was diagnosed, it was a surprise to us. We didn't know anything about it because nobody's talking about it. The symptoms are very vague. The symptoms are things such as bloating, pelvic pain. You may have a tendency to use the bathroom more often, but those symptoms mimic so many other diseases. And so you would never think, if you had those symptoms, that you had ovarian cancer. So that is why we're advocating for awareness, early detection, and screening.
And Brother Bazemore, another thing that we're advocating also, that we're pushing for, that women do what they call an annual testing for breast cancer. I mean, all the time they go for screening. We're advocating for this can be an annual test that can be done not only here in Delaware, but it could be done across the whole United States to help save lives, because there is not a cure at this time for ovarian cancer. But if you can catch it at its early stage, you have an opportunity to live, and that's just any other cancer. And that's what we're advocating for. We're talking to United States senators and others that we can advocate not only here in this state, but all throughout the United States. As we travel and talk about it, and some other states, we talk to women and universities where we travel, they're wishing that it could be done in their states as well.
Yeah, and that's so important. I was at DSU yesterday, and I was telling Clarence about it, and he said, "Bring the flyers out."
That's
bring
the president, correct?
No, Clarence, they have a DSU Cure Center out there where people can go there that have businesses, and they have work rooms, they have conference rooms, but the president does come through, but it's in the downtown heart of Dover.
Okay.
And stuff. So they have students that's probably majoring in business. They go over there and they set up and they can study. They can have study groups, lounges and stuff. So they just built it and stuff, and it's pretty new. But I told them I'm bringing flyers back, so they can pass out, because we see a lot of women walk through there and that pass that along, and they can even come down and join.
Yes, absolutely.
Join this walk, and talk to some of them banks like Dover Federal Credit Union. Let's talk to the people at the Air Force Base. So we want to get the word out throughout the whole state of Delaware.
Absolutely.
And pass that on, because if we understand that we can help somebody early, we can save a life. We can save a life out here. And you talk about that early detection, where a lot of folks, they don't even go to get checkups, and we got to have that conversation with them. Like, go check out your body. You might feel good, but it has to be right.
Absolutely. That's correct.
It have to be right and stuff and everything. And I was reading in the information that y'all did a walk last year, run walk at Temple. University?
Yes. No, it wasn't at Temple. Temple, they put a big article in their paper talking about their alumni, which was my daughter. But we did it last year at the Navy Yard. A big success at the Navy Yard. And we live in Delaware. And it was about time we came back to Delaware due to the fact when the bill was passed, the legislature, they showed us a lot of love. And we thought it'd be a great idea to contact the University of Delaware, where she was an alumni. And they welcome us, and they said, as long as it's not a football game that day, we would love to have you there. And sure enough, we made it happen. And
that's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. We were there yesterday looking at the site, seeing how it's set up, and then saying, okay, we got to go out and start raising some money now.
Right.
And we're going to make it nice.
Well, we've been doing that. We've been doing that for a long time, trying to, get sponsors. But I agree, the more the merrier. The more we have, the more resources we will have to make it really nice. An excellent event for the entire community.
Yeah, and it's so big for us to pass that word on for it. Folks, I'm going to say it again, www.faithdeannajohnson.org.
Yes.
Go to the website, read on the story, understand you might have family members that want to know about this early detection or what's going on or what should they check for. Come out to the event, show your sponsorship, show your love so we can start to educate out here in the community. For all you church folks out there, pass that in the church, when you're having health fairs and stuff. And maybe we can get Mr. and Mrs. Johnson down there to the church to speak on that, so y'all can be able to get this word out in the community, get it out in our churches, get it out in the public. And this is not like it's supposed to be a big secret. Growing up, we always like, shh, don't talk about it. But
that's correct. That's correct.
We talking about it. We're telling the story.
We're talking about it, being about it for sure.
Absolutely. I have to go back. It related to me with my mom. She had cervical cancer when she passed. And, I found out 7 days, so I had to ask myself, what's going on? How did it just happen? Everything was fine. I just brought my baby boy to her, and they said it's the size of a pin needle, and stuff that you start to see. And I I wanted to fight. And I'm like, man, this is totally unbelievable, to where we started reading and researching and telling people about this. But I tell folks all the time, knowledge is very much power in this
certainly.
And for it and stuff. And Mr. Johnson, what's some of the questions? I know people ask y'all all the time. So how can I detect it? Do I just go to the regular physical, or what should we do?
Well, you know what? I'll start with this. I will say that for a long time, it went undetected for our daughter. And that is how, of course, she passed at such a young age. So I would say, for one, if as a female, of course, you have a menstrual cycle. And if you're having this pain outside of your menstrual cycle, then it's a problem. So if you have consistent bloating, you have consistent pelvic pain, outside of the time of your normal cycle, and it is consistent, and then that is the time, to have that talk. I will say that my daughter was dismissed on various times. So, a lot of times, statistics will say that the reason why we have certain diseases or certain calamities in the African American community is because we don't have access to care. That was not her story. She had access. She had excellent insurance. Her problem was, I would say, the statistics in the medical community that say this disease only affects older women. It only affects women that are postmenopausal, and that's not true. Since we have been out in the field working this mission, we have had countless women tell us that they have too been dismissed by their doctors. And of course, there are issues in the medical community with treating women, generally. A lot of times, of course, as women, we bear children and we have pain, and doctors, they say, well, that's related to this or that female issue. And so you get dismissed, and they tell you, okay, as a Black woman, they'll say, well, that pain is related to fibroids. You have a fibroid. And that's what she was told, that she had a fibroid, and that's what Black women have. And, take these pills and you'll be fine. And that's what was consistently told to her. And she, repeatedly would say, okay, no, this is too much pain, and when it became obvious to her that this is just really something that is unbearable, she went to a specialist. Of course, we see a gynecologist who was a specialist in women's issues. And that doctor pretty much said, okay, fine, we'll get you an MRI to see really what's going on. She didn't make it an emergency. She, made it so that, it's just a routine test and, we'll get to your MRI. And my daughter's still in pain. And so she'd call me because at that time she had graduated grad school and she was working out of town. So she wasn't living with us. So she was on her own. So you have this young lady who wants, she's trying to really bang out her career and, maybe not always listening to your body, but she was in tune. She was in tune. And so the doctor was saying, well, we'll get to it. And she's saying, okay, she's trusting this doctor had her best interest at heart. And so she says, okay, mom, she's going to order this MRI. And I'm saying, okay, when, So it took 3 weeks and she still hadn't ordered this MRI. And my daughter called me one day from work and she's just crying. And she says, I'm in so much pain. And I says, leave work now. Leave work and go to the emergency room and make them do an MRI for you. And that's what she ended up doing. And that's what started this cancer journey. The doctor at that time at that hospital told her, again, that's a fibroid. And I've had fibroids. And I know you don't have that much pain outside of your cycle when you have fibroids. So I told that doctor, look, you know what? And this was in another state because, like I said, she was working out of town. And I told her, you know what? We're going to go back home. We have to go back home. We're going to take you back to the East Coast and we're going to find a doctor that's going to get to the bottom of this. And that's what we did. So you have to be persistent. We went and we took her to what's perceived to be, the number one hospital on the East Coast. And they immediately said, we have to remove. She has a tumor that has to come out. We don't know if it's cancer. We don't know what it is, but this tumor must be removed. We saw them on a Friday, I believe. He scheduled her for surgery on a Tuesday. And that's when he said, you know what? I believe this is cancer. But he said they couldn't determine until 3 weeks later. They came back and said, this is ovarian cancer. And that started her journey. So, and it was very late. And that's how ovarian cancer works. It is very subtle and once you really feel the pain, it's almost too late. So it was at a stage when they found it, they felt, the doctors, of course, at that time said, oh, she's young. And they, to me, they dismissed it. They felt she's young. She's going to beat this. We do the surgery. She felt great after the surgery. She felt fine. But there was cancer. And in my opinion, as I said, she was young and they felt, well, didn't start treatment soon enough. And a whole lot of things I felt went wrong. While the hospital was a great hospital, just in my daughter's case, I just felt that, because she was young and other things, that it wasn't taken as serious as it could have been. And, so she eventually, the disease, it took her life. But had it been detected early, had doctors listened to her early, I believe, of course, it could have saved her life. So to your question, I'm sorry I went a long time.
That's great. That's great information.
I gave that illustration because that gives you a window into how it can happen. But again, the symptoms are like I just said, some of the same symptoms you feel when you're on your cycle. So it's bloating, it's difficult eating, it's pelvic pain, pelvic pressure, and a tendency to urinate frequently. So those are, and like I said, those are very vague symptoms, and it mimics other diseases. And so that's why it's difficult to detect. But if you have a doctor that is really in tune and cares about you and really cares about your health, they will go a step further and research and truly listen, because that's our part of our mission, is really to we would like to have a retraining and a re-education and a cultural change, because I always say all care is not equal when you go to the doctor. And so, we have cultural biases and things that sometimes keep us from receiving the care that we feel may be due us.
Yeah, necessary.
So unfortunately, when that's done, it's detrimental. It's very detrimental. So
somebody just asked a question. So do we have to see a specialist to get treated, to be seen?
Well, I would say you need to see a gynecologist.
Definitely.
Yes, so that's considered a specialist.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about this House bill that was passed for the insurance companies. Were we seeing that they weren't allowing the test, or what brought that about, the House bill?
Well, I would say the often, insurance companies have certain things that they will pay for, and because this disease, there's no testing for it. There's similar to what Dwayne just said about mammograms, of course. Of course, when you're looking for breast cancer, now when you're at age 40, insurance companies have agreed to start testing for breast cancer at age 40. So you go and you get a mammogram. That does not happen automatically for ovarian cancer, for many reasons. So the insurance companies are not always willing to pay, because sometimes they feel it is an unnecessary test if you are not at risk for it. So they don't want to test everybody. They don't want to test, even though now, of course, we test everybody for breast cancer when you turn 40. When you turn 40.
And men for prostate at 45.
Yes. And but ovarian cancer is not there yet. So insurance companies just don't pay unless they feel there is a reason for it. And so sometimes when you visit your doctor, they may or may, they feel that your insurance may not cover it sometimes, perhaps, I don't know. I can't say that for sure. So I don't want to, but there may be tests that may be available that they may not mention to you because perhaps your insurance company may not cover it.
Wow.
So in the state of Delaware now, Brother Bazemore, in the state of Delaware, the insurance company, it's law now, the insurance company has to cover the test for ovarian cancer. That's what's in there.
And that's awesome,
that's
for because somebody was just sending me a text with the question of, what if my doctor said that I don't need that test? You don't
listen to that doctor, get you a new one, or say I demand it.
Well, I would agree with that. I would agree with that we have to be our own advocates. But I would say that first, I believe what they are looking for is that you have some symptoms, first of all. And a lot of the medical community believes that it is genetic. It is related to your genetics. And so they would like to do genetic testing. We started the genetic testing after the fact, of course, after they found that my daughter, after she had it. It didn't really reveal much for us. The only thing that we know is that my mom had colon cancer. And a family history of colon cancer or breast cancer makes you at risk for ovarian. Of course, we didn't know that at the time, but so a doctor, in my opinion, I believe a doctor should do a risk assessment. If you want to get tested for ovarian cancer, then they should do a risk assessment to ask you, your medical history for your family. If you have a history of those cancers that I just mentioned, do you have any symptoms of ovarian cancer? A simple CA-125 test could have, I believe, saved my daughter's life. They never gave her the CA-125 until after she had the surgery. And that's when they determined, okay, that's not the only determinant that they, when they realized she had ovarian cancer, but that was one of the tests that they used. So it's a marker. That test is a marker to determine, whether or not you have that in your system. But that was done after she had her surgery. So that could have been done before, when she was at the hospital and the doctor's looking at the MRI saying that's a fibroid. Had they done the CA-125, we believe, of course, I can't say for certain, but I believe had the CA-125 been done then, it would have identified then that she had the ovarian cancer.
And tell us about that CA-125. What type of test is that? Is that just an X-ray or?
It's a blood test.
It's a blood test.
It's a blood test. Brother Bazemore, I'm going to do a deeper dive in ovarian cancer. For many, many years, our grandmothers and mothers, great-grandmothers and sisters been using this product that has talcum in it, asbestos. And that came out recently within the last 15 years. That's been out there. Scientists says this product they've been using has asbestos in it. And that asbestos are in our community, we've been using in our hair, on our body, Black women. And that's another thing that's been causing cancer in our community that we're just finding out about. And that's been going on, like I said, way back to great-grandmothers. And that's another thing that we've done a deep dive into, looking into how these cancers are coming about.
Well, yes, people could look that up online. There are two separate lawsuits going on right now with companies that
hair care.
For hair care, there's a hair care lawsuit, and people can look that up online. I don't have all that information. I don't want to call any names or anything. But if you look online, you'll find that there is a class action lawsuit related to ovarian cancer and PERMs, permanent relaxers. And the other one is, as Dwayne just mentioned, it's related to the baby powder. So many lawsuits have been settled. And then there's, and I believe the ones that have been settled, I don't know if they were class action lawsuits. They could have been just individuals. But there are class action lawsuits out for ovarian cancer as it's related to hair care relaxers and to the talcum powder.
And that's good information to pass on, because sometimes we buy stuff and we used to buying stuff. And
exactly. We're consumer people.
Yeah. And we don't know and stuff. And that's why I'm encouraging the folks right now. www.faithdeannajohnson.org.
Yes.
Go ahead, do your sponsorship. Be able to come to the event to have that conversation with Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. I mean, maybe it's something you want to talk about and have that interaction with, so you can know, for your loved ones and your children and stuff out there. But we're going to do that run walk. I'm going to be honest. I'm probably going to do a walk.
That's okay. Me too.
I would try. I got to start working up a little bit.
That's it.
It's important when we walk and we talk and we think about these things that's happening in our bodies. Then we can kind of realize, hey, we need to change our habits of what we're doing here. And we just thank y'all for it. And someone said the bottom line is that we should always do our yearly physical blood check.
Right.
that, and don't be afraid to talk to your doctor and ask them questions. Robert,
right.
that is so important that we
So
do that, men and women,
yes,
and,
absolutely.
and I know from the man's side, I got to be honest, it was some years that I'm like, I'm good. But
Right.
somebody said, take your butt over there, sit down in that chair, and listen to somebody with some knowledge. And I'm like, okay. And I did that. And, I found a lot about diabetes, which I had, and all that stuff. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, how did this all start? I never heard it before, in the family and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they said probably people in your family, they had it. And,
it was one of the things you talked about. They keep everything quiet.
Keep it quiet. So I tell people about all checkups. Go out there, get that checkup. We're seeing folks like Mr. and Mrs. Johnson talk about stuff they have learned through this. And that is so important for us to know, because knowledge is power. So we can change our actions of what we do every day, but September 6th, if you miss it, you're going to miss a great event. If you're looking for sponsorship, we're going to even put y'all number up there. What's a good number to call if they want to talk about sponsorship? Because that'd be better.
302-279-6881.
So we're going to have the number run across. Call them up if you can. Check out the website. Say, hey, we seen it. We just want to donate. We might not be able to make it, but, we want to put this in the name of the foundation, whatever it is, because every little bit makes a difference. That's the knowledge that Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, they might have to go to New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and have this speech for that. 302-279-6881. Give them a call. Ask the questions. Just say, hey, I want to be a sponsor. I might not be there, but maybe later on I can have a conversation. You can educate me more. And that'll be good, because once they start passing this on in this foundation and it gets across the United States, it's going to be a major change in our African-American community, for our African-American folks out here that probably don't even think about health care, and, why we fight for health care today for that, because a lot of folks say, well, I can't afford it. You can't afford not to have it. We have to find a way to get that for that, so you won't be at risk here. But feel free to give them a call, 302-279-6881. I'm really embedding and encouraging everyone. If you can't attend, call, go to the website, leave a donation. If it's $10, leave a donation as we go ahead and spread this word all across to all members, churches, African Americans, little kids, because we might have some little young females right now that don't understand the pain. And they might tell them, oh, you're going through a cycle, so you're going to have pain. But like, this is too much.
Right.
But they can go get that checkup. They can go to that physical. And folks, bring the young ladies out to this event.
That's right. There you go.
Yes.
Bring them out. Let them know, hey, you know what? Nobody's exempt.
That's right.
Anybody. But you know what's going to be the best thing? Having a conversation to make sure that they are aware of what's going on out here. Why is it coming? Why are we doing this? This is the reason why. Because guess what? They could have found out, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson could have found out all this information and just sat back and not said a word.
That's
and
correct.
just went through their whole point of agreement. But they're taking the time here. So I recommend www.faithdeannajohnson.org is the website.
That's right.
Also on social media. They can find us on social media as well. The Faith Deanna Johnson Foundation, Facebook and Instagram. So if you follow us, we would love for you to go and like our page.
You can also volunteer if they don't have the $10.
Absolutely. So volunteers would be awesome too. Go out there and volunteer some time and check it out so you can get that knowledge. You might have to tell somebody, hey, I attended an event. This would happen. Hey, somebody said, yeah, I was having that pain.
Yeah,
they're like, yo, go get checked out. This was recommend us to get checked out. This was happening. Anybody volunteering, Give them a
Yeah.
call. Say, hey, I don't mind volunteering. Tell me what you want me to do. If I need to just pick up the trash, if I need to just hand people water, whatever
That's
it
some
is.
water out. That's right. Yeah.
The
You
walk
know,
is free, though. I want to say the walk is free. The timed runners, there is a fee for timed runners. The walk is free, but we encourage donations. Yes, we
Right.
do. But, but the walk is free. So I don't want, to exclude anyone, if they didn't have the money to donate. But I agree with you. We'll take, as low, whatever they have, $5,
Right.
$10, will support the walk. But it is a free event. There will be a health fair going on as well. We welcome, individuals that may have a small business that would like to be a vendor to contact us, and we'll see if it's a great fit for the event.
Right. And that's going to be so ideal. As the event, Chuck, is September 6th,
Yes.
and it's at the University of Delaware
Mm-hmm.
by
At the Bob Hanner Stadium, right next to the Bob Carpenter Center.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
by the
Bob
Bob Hanner Stadium.
Yes, sir.
Right for it. So come out there. But if you have struggling with it, give them a call so you can have it. I know I'm giving out flyers out here in Kent County, so we can bring them to Newcastle County.
Yes.
And everybody can go ahead and pass it on, because like I tell folks, if I can just pass it on to even the next county that can come up, we can have a great turnout for this event, so folks can come out and see the results of what we're doing out here, make that change in their life to get healthy, change their body mechanism.
Yes.
But sponsors, donations,
Yes.
You have to give Mr. and Mrs. Johnson a call, see how we can help and how we can go out there and let the folks know that, we're here just to pass the word on. Your doctor might not have told you, your nurse might not tell you, but check this out, get that blood test to see where you really at, so you can be able to go out here and live a healthy lifestyle. www.faithdeannajohnson.org. Also Facebook, Instagram, Faith Deanna Johnson. Go on there. I'll be on there tonight.
Brother Bazemore, I want to say this. Also, if they want to bring Big Mama out or Granny out, we have places for them to sit if they don't want to walk. They just want to be out there with the community and just fellowship with the people. Or we have a nice, cool space for them to sit. Got water for them to sit. They don't have to do the walk. But just to have our seniors and our elders around us is a blessing also.
Right.
Yes,
So folks, everybody invited.
Yeah,
Yes,
everybody.
everybody's
Absolutely. If you don't want to walk, you don't want to run, fine.
Well, you can participate in the health fair. There'll be a mobile health van there. So there will be screenings available, and a lot of health information will be available at the walk.
And that's free as well.
That's free. That's free information that you're probably not going to find anywhere else that you'll probably need it. We've seen a House bill get passed. We're going to see other victories start to be won from this.
There you go.
We're going to see people's lives change, and we're going to start passing this on from state to state. That's going to be the joy of it, because it's just starting right here in Delaware. We're the first state. We passing it on to somebody else next, to where that run and walk is going to take a event, and next thing you know, we'll be across the United States.
That's right.
We'll be ready to talk. So, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, before we close out, any last comments? Something I missed? I appreciate y'all so much for doing this.
Bazemore, you knocked it out of the park, as they say. Touchdown, field goal, home run. You knocked it out of the park. Thank you so much for having us. It was a blessing that we met you. It was a blessing that you are in tune with the community. And let's all work with the community, that we can all continue to be a blessing to one another.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Folks, y'all heard it. We're out here to support. As I tell y'all every week, resources are important for you to change your life and your habits. If you're going to create wealth, if you're going to create longevity, you have to get your health in order.
That's correct.
You can think freely and be able to move and think about what's happening out here. We have so many people taking shots. We taking vaccines. We doing a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Just find out how it affects you. And once you find out how that affects you, you can make an informed decision of how you're going to act. You're going to change your eating. You're going to change your sleeping or whatever you need to do. Well, folks, it was a pleasure. Another week. I thank y'all. Thank Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, Faith Deanna Johnson Foundation. We thank you. We're going to support you. We're going to broadcast and let these folks know about y'all. But until next week, support the Faith Deanna Johnson Foundation. We look forward to seeing y'all on that website. We look forward to seeing you September 6th.
That's
Give
right.
them a call. And we look forward to making it happen. Y'all have a good evening and thanks again.
Thank you so much.
You and watching your family.